Hi, I'm Matthew Whitley, a senior at Middlebury College, and I'll be making this tutorial on behalf of NOFA Vermont. This is the last video I'm making, and I'll be teaching you how to use the measurement tools in the Vermont Agency of Natural Resources Atlas. Once again, I'll be using Bruce and Beth's property just outside of Richmond, Vermont, as an example. So under the Measurement tab in your toolbox, you'll find several really helpful tools. The first of these is the distance measurement tool. To use it, simply click on it and then click on the map as an anchor point. This tool will let you measure any distance in any direction on the map. So set your anchor and then drag it to where you want your endpoint to be. Now, there's two options here. The first option is just to double click it. That will finish your line and it will show you the measurement on the map like here, but sometimes it'll be hard to read. So it also shows it up here in the measurement tab, which is really helpful. And so this button here will let you change your measurement units to anything you want, really. You know, yards, meters, kilometers, whatever you want. But I'll just leave it in feet. And so you'll notice that when there is a measurement on the map, if you click again, the measurement disappears. And so just take note of that and be sure to write down your measurements if you want to keep them. So the second way to use this tool is to only click once instead of twice. So just single click here, and that'll allow you to draw another line in any direction you want, even backwards. And so doing this is really helpful if you want to measure the perimeter of your property, say. And then you would just go around and you know, mark out the boundary. The second tool that's really useful is the area tool. And so once again, if you click on the map, your old measurements will disappear. But this tool is very similar looking to begin with, but once you create a few vertices, it changes. So essentially, you just follow the boundary of the polygon you want to measure, and it will actually also tell you the length of the segment you drew, effectively giving you the perimeter again, but it will also tell you the area. So when you're finished, just double click and your area will pop up on screen, as well as under the measurement tab. This is a really useful tool. Next, this plot coordinates button will also help you. So if this is useful if you want to mark out the end of your property, or if you want to just find where your property is in general, this will give you GPS coordinates that you can use. You can even plug them into Google, and Google Maps will show you where your point is. But really, so you just click this and then click anywhere you want. So let's say the middle of the field. And then these will give you latitude and longitude measurements. And you can do this actually multiple times, and it won't erase the old ones. But this tends to clutter your screen up a little bit, so there's a button up here called Clear Chords, which allows you to erase all plotted coordinates. And so I'll just get rid of them to show you. So, and you can also change your units here to lat and longitude, and these are just different projections, but I would leave it on latitude and longitude in degrees. And so the last tool that's really helpful is an elevation profile. And this is a little trickier to use than the rest of the tools, but it is also a very useful resource. So what I want to do, so it essentially allows you to measure the elevation along any given transect that you make. So what I'll do is I'll measure from the middle of the river up through Bruce and Beth's field. And so just double click when you're done, and you'll get a little chart plotted out. And it has this little dot on it, which is really cool, that will follow your transect along where you drew it. So starting in the middle of the river, it's pretty low at 275 feet in elevation. You can see here. Now, unfortunately, this distance is incorrect. So if you want to know the distance of your transect, you have to use the measured distance tool, because this is incorrect, sadly. But the elevation values are accurate. So here you can see that the elevation rises on this little sandbank here, and then once again hops the bank of the river, and then after the railroad jumps up a little bit more, and then this is the highway, and then this is the other side of the highway, and then this is into the field. And so you can see that this field is really flat until you get up to here about, and then it starts to climb slowly. And so this is a really useful tool when you want to think about flooding and how far water will creep up if your field starts to flood. And an interesting way to use this tool is if you trace the perimeter of what you're interested in. So I'll just trace this part. I'll go over here actually. And it won't give you the elevation in a three-dimensional plane like for the whole field, but it will give you elevation points along the perimeter. So if you follow the red dot, you'll see the change in elevation. And so in this example, we'll start here and move along and see there's a little hill there in the middle of that, and then it dips down here, and then along this backside there's a little hill, and then slopes down slowly until here, which is low, and here, which is pretty low, and then starts to rise again. And so just by doing this quick little model, we can see that this field is higher in this corner and then slopes down diagonally to the lowest point in this corner. And this is really useful just to get a general sense of your elevation profile of your land. And a lot of you will already know this, but you probably won't know the exact elevations of this. And you can do just simple subtraction and find the difference in elevation between this point and this point, or this point rather. So this is a really useful tool when you're planning too. So all of these tools are really great resources for planning and use on the farm, but there is a disclaimer from the Agency of Natural Resources that says that these measurements do not hold up in court, and that they are not that accurate for court cases. But in the sense of general planning purposes and strategies for flooding and whatnot, these are amazing resources. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos, and I hope they've been helpful in planning for your risk management. Thank you.